Okay, so it is 8:01. I'm going to get rolling here so we can stay on track tonight. We are recording. If anybody jumps in and we hear noise, I will do my best to manage that and make sure that we're muted. But I'm going to try to keep this to about 26, 27 minutes. If you guys have questions, let me know. We can always follow up later. But first and foremost, happy Tuesday, happy Thanksgiving week. I hope you guys are excited to celebrate the holiday. Major kudos to corporate for what they strung together Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. How much fun has that been with new releases every single day? I love when they do stuff like that. I think as reps, it's a really neat thing to recognize that they do, just because it helps our business and it helps our customers. So that has been so fun. And tomorrow I think is going to be pretty good. There's been a couple of sneak peeks. I don't know if you guys saw them, but it has me very excited. So, okay, let me get started. So my name is Leah. I have been with ZYIA Active since March of last year. So I don't know, probably, what is that, over 18 months. I was introduced by my dear, one of my best friends, Ellie Krieger, actually. She is my upline. And tonight at 8:30, if you guys are Central Time, right after I finish up talking a little bit about numbers and compensation, Amy Ward is going to talk about time management and best practice. I don't know if you guys have ever had the chance to hear Amy speak, but she's like totally my girl crush in the ZYIA world when it comes to speaking. If you were at Summit, you had an opportunity to hear her speak, and it's absolutely incredible. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We're literally I'm just going to pass the mic on to Amy, and she's going to get rolling in the next 26, 27 minutes. But for the next 25 minutes, you guys get to be awestruck about numbers. So let me start by saying this. I know some of you guys on here are like, hey, I'm super excited to be here because I love numbers and I want to understand them more. Numbers is my jam. And some of you are like, Ellie, there's not enough wine for the next 25 minutes to get through talking about numbers because you don't care, you don't really like them, it's not your thing. You're excited to see your paycheck, but you really have no idea what it's going to be. And that's okay. But my goal tonight is to help clarify a little bit about how our compensation plan works, because I think there's so much power behind it. So ZYIA's compensation plan is pretty straightforward, but I'm going to dig into 4 main points of it, okay? And then a couple of things that I've learned along the way that have helped me tremendously. So first and foremost, let me start by saying you may be here for the rep discount. You may be here to share this brand with friends and family and earn personal commissions and sell to people you meet along the way. That's awesome. You may be here to do both of those things as well as earn a residual income and build a business doing this, okay? So for tonight, any of those options is great. I want to start by saying that. But tonight, specifically for this audience, I'm going to assume that all of you guys are here to build a business. I'm going to assume that's why you're on this phone call and you want to hear about every single way that you can maximize this opportunity, okay? So that's how we're going to talk about it. So first and foremost, I do have a little thing here so I can stay on track with you guys. But one thing that I want to have happen after tonight is I want you guys to be crystal clear on what your goals are. I think one thing that happens in this industry that's oftentimes overlooked or we don't do a great job of is understanding that we have a lot more control over our income and understanding our compensation than we think, okay? So you really can control it more than you probably think you can by knowing input equals output. What do you want your output to be? And what is our input going to look like to make sure that we hit that goal financially? Because as much as we're here for the really cute clothes and the community and the friendships, we're also here to make money, right? I'm assuming that's why a lot of you guys signed up, is because you want to have a significant income with this. So that's what we want to do tonight. We want to get crystal clear on what that looks like and understanding a strategic plan on how to get there. I love numbers. I think knowing your numbers and knowing the compensation plan is one of the strongest tools in this business to help you hit your goals, without question. So first, I'm going to start with what I consider are our 4 main revenue streams, and then where to start, and then a couple of fun facts that I've learned along the way that I always questioned, but I didn't really know. So I just called and got some answers to today that I'm going to share with you guys that I think will be helpful. So first, the 4 revenue streams, okay? I break it down into 4 different areas. The first is personal sales, right? We know that we're going to earn an income off of the personal sales that we make. So when you enroll as a ZYIA active rep, you know that every single transaction that happens through your website, you're making income on, okay? This is a very black and white topic. There's not a lot of room for gray area. We know that as a rep, you make 20% commission on everything that's being sold. So if you're sitting here tonight and somebody makes a $100 purchase while you're on this phone call, which, hello, is a pretty cool part of this business, you're gonna make 20 bucks, right? If you sell $1,000 in a month, or when you sell $1,000 in a month, a lot of you guys know this, ZYIA is going to generously tack on an additional 8% commission to everything you've already sold this month, in addition to everything you continue to sell this month. So if you're at that $1,000 PV, you're going to make $28 sitting here on that $100 sale that just happened in a party that you're hosting right now, okay? So that's the first one, is personal sales. Very straightforward, very simple. If your goal in this business is to earn $500 a month through personal sales, we know how to do that, right? Like, we know how to do that. You have to hit $1,800 in personal volume or personal sales. That's going to get you to a $504 paycheck, okay? So what does that look like? You might say, well, yeah, it's easy to say we're going to sell $1,500 or $1,800 to hit $500 in income, but how do I do that? Talk to your upline, talk to your sponsor. There's been so many great calls in this winter training series already about parties and hosting and VIP pages. That's how that's going to happen, okay? I know based on my numbers, if I wanted to hit 1,800, for me, that would probably be my VIP group and 2 to 3 parties during the month to make sure that I know I'm going to hit that goal. So it's not a guessing game. It's not a specific skill set. There's no magic power. We know, do the work. Do the work to sell $1,800 so you make a $500 paycheck, okay? So you always know input equals output there. One thing I would recommend for anything with personal sales, if you have a team, which includes yourself, you plus one other person, you plus 1,000 other people, make sure that you're always checking those numbers. One thing that happened to me in the beginning of this business was I had somebody on my first line in their first month sell $950. I was brand new, and I didn't check to see how close she was to 1,000 to that 8% override. So what happened was she missed out on $80 in commission by not having a $50 sale. She essentially could have sold 50 bucks or spent 50 bucks for free and still made an additional 30, okay? So make sure you're checking those numbers. Make sure you're always checking those just to be sure. So that's the first. Personal sales is based on 100% of the volume. So again, if you sell something for $100, you're making 20 to 28% on that full $100, okay? It's full retail of what has been sold. The second way to earn income in this business is through team sales. Again, I'm assuming people are here because they want to kind of start up and run a business, or you are running a business. I like to call these mentorship sales. That's not a ZYIA word. It's probably something you haven't heard, but here's why. The way that ZYIA is set up, if you go and create a community, if you share this opportunity with other people and you are bringing them on board and you are spending time mentoring them and training them and helping them get up and running, helping with their VIP group, maybe helping them run their first couple Facebook parties, ZYIA is going to say, hey, cool, you're out doing a lot of this work for us by exposing our brand and bringing on additional sales reps for us, and we're going to compensate you for that, okay? So because you're taking time out of your personal business and your personal sales, we're going to compensate you for growing and mentoring a team. And that's pretty cool too, right? So now we have this other stream of income. If this is something that you really want to turn into a very significant part of your income stream for your family or for yourself, building and mentoring a team is where that's going to happen, okay? And it doesn't happen overnight. But as you continue to do that, what essentially happens is the larger chunk of your paycheck is going to come from all the time that you're spending mentoring a team rather than your personal sales. Now, you should still have personal sales, right? I still try to sell $2,500 a month, which is usually the case, except last month I blacked out and I sold like $800, which I just have to be honest with you guys. But typically I'm selling about $2,500 because that's very important. But I'm at a point in my business now where I'm investing so much time and energy into my team that it's growing, and that's where I'm spending a lot of time. And that is becoming a residual part of my check where it's there every month, and it continues to grow and it continues to compound. That is where the magic of this business is, and it happens fast. You guys are in a crazy place. crazy time with crazy opportunity. There's so much momentum just naturally behind you right now outside of what you're doing that it's going to happen fast if you're doing the daily things and if you're showing up every day consistently. The one thing to note about team commissions, and I think this is where people sometimes get a little bit confused, I'm going to quick do a screen share, is you make, can you guys see this, my screen? Okay, so you're going to make a percentage as you rank advance. So if you're a junior rep, you're going to make 5% on 75% of your group volume. So personal sales, it's based on 100% of your volume. Anything that you make from team sales or mentorship commissions is based on 75% of that total volume. So for example, if you're a junior rep and your first level sells $10,000 in group volume, you're going to make 5% of $7,500, okay? So it's based on 75% of the total. That's what the team mentorship, what I call mentorship commissions kind of look like. It's very, very lucrative if it's something that you guys are interested in. It's a crazy cool part of the business, and it's where you're really gonna grow that income quickly. Kind of like a hockey stick, right? Anything in direct sales like this, where you're putting in all this time up front, you work, and all of a sudden you start to grow, and then it kind of takes off. The third way is rank advancement bonuses. This is very straightforward. Every time that we rank advance in ZYIA, you earn a one-time bonus that goes directly to your checking on the date that you get paid, right? So the 8th or whatever it hits your bank account. The only stipulation on that is junior rep. That $50 bonus for junior rep has to happen within, Christina, I love your outfit. I just noticed it. Does anybody see Christina? Like Santa hat. I don't know if she has her audio on. I don't think she's listening to me, but she looks really cute. So anyways, that bonus, it happens one time, and the junior rep bonus does have to happen within the first 3 months. Any other bonus, there's no time stipulation on. It can happen at any point. And then the fourth way is incentives. I like to include this in our revenue streams, although it's not listed like on your paycheck and you can't necessarily keep track of it. Incentives is a really big revenue stream in this business. So since I've started, and I only share this with you guys to let you know if you're new or if you haven't been here all that long yet, what's possible. I mean, the incentives that I've earned have been like customized Nikes, Apple AirPods, a $500 bonus, a $750 bonus, a $1,000 bonus, a cruise, a trip to Thailand, my flights to Thailand, which I can't go on because I'm 38 weeks pregnant, which is why I'm so out of breath. But that's another revenue stream that I would highly take into consideration because there's so many incentives in this organization, you guys, way more than other organizations. So that's something that, although it's not reflected necessarily on my paycheck, those are all things that are coming in that I like to keep track of because I think it's really important. So those are the 4 revenue streams. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions on it, go ahead and just put it in the comments. And then when I was talking to my team about this, they're like, Leah, compensation sounds great. I hear how to make, I hear I can make all this money, and there's people making $2,000 a month and $7,000 and $20,000, but how do I do that and where do I start? First of all, I wouldn't start in a place where you come into the business and you're like, I'm going to make $10,000 in my second month. Like, that's my goal. If you did, that's amazing. Kudos to you. I think that's awesome. However, this is a business just like anything else. And as a business owner, I think it's really important that we recognize that it does take time to build that up, okay? It takes time to build that. It takes time to get there. So set monthly goals. When I started this, my first goal was to make back my investment, my enrollment investment in the first 30 days. That is something that I have never let go of. So if you have a team, or if you're new, or if you have people that you plan on bringing in the business, or you haven't necessarily made your investment back yet, when I talk to people, my first thing is let's just focus on your first 30 days. You can write down what your 12-month goal is, what your 5-year goal is. That's really great. But let's talk about your first 30 days because we need to break it down so it's not so overwhelming. And that's what we do. So to get that investment back, and I don't say your kit cost or the price of your kit because that kind of has a negative connotation. We're talking about this as your enrollment investment because you're investing $395 to have this business, okay? It's an investment. So we know, I say, hey, in your first 30 days, our goal for you is to hit $1,500 in sales, because that's going to get you $420 in a paycheck. So let's hit $1,500 in sales. That's what we're going to focus on. Now, again, that sounds great, but how do we break that down? They're like, oh, I don't know how to sell $1,500. What do I do? Okay, let's break it down one step further. We're going to have a launch party. And within that first 30 days, outside of your launch party, let's schedule 2 to 3 other events, whether it's in person, it's online, it's a Facebook party, whatever you want it to be. But outside of your launch event, let's schedule 2 to 3 events. I'll give you language. I'll take you some videos on trainings on how to make that happen. But we want to have 4 total events, okay, including your launch. So that's the first thing in the first 30 days. Second, in that first 30 days, let's talk about, if it's a goal of somebody's to make this a business and grow a team and build a community of other people, let's talk about adding 1 to 3 business partners into your business in the first 30 days. Okay. And that sounds overwhelming, right? Because for some people, recruiting is like crazy hard. But I believe that between the leaders that you guys are, the leaders that we all have, the resources out there, there's enough training and there's enough that we can equip people to know how to do it. We can give them all of the resources. We can take all of the resources to hit our financial goals. It's just a matter of if we want to do it or not. So we're going to say, hey, so launch party, 2 to 3 events to hit that 1,500 PV. Plus we're going to talk about 1 to 3 other people that you think would rock this with you. Who are some people that come to mind when you think about wanting to run this business, wanting to succeed with, wanting to have a transparent conversation, an honest conversation about why you joined, wanting to travel with someday? Who are people that come to mind? And let's get some business partners. One thing that I know for sure, I have not recruited a ton of people, probably 50 in my time. I don't recruit a ton per month, but I'm very, very consistent with between 2 to 3 a month, is that when somebody starts and they have the success of getting their enrollment investment back and seeing a $400 paycheck in their first 30 days, when they get that immediate gratification, that is so impactful, because they're like, I made my kick cost or my investment back in the first 30 days plus some additional income. And then if they have 1 to 3 business partners that they add in their first 30 days, there's going to be a small part of their check that's reflected from what their team has done and from the work that they've invested in those people. If you can get people a little taste of that in the beginning of how generous this compensation plan is, that is going to help them get off to a very fast start. And if you're in your 6th or 7th month and you haven't recruited somebody, or you haven't necessarily had the sales you wanted, you can do that. You can create a plan. You can be very strategic about your next 30 days to make that happen and see how it feels. See if you like it. See if it changes something in your business or how you view the business. But I do think that that's an incredibly important piece of it, is getting people a little taste of how that feels. And then a couple of fun facts for you guys. This one's not that fun, but it's a question I get all the time. If somebody ends their month negatively, so if they don't sell anything and they have some returns from the month before, they say, well, what now? What happens? What will happen is in your next positive commission check, you will pay back those commissions on the returns in your next positive checks until you're back to kind of break even. Does that make sense? Not super fun. You guys probably aren't in the negative very often, but it happens. And now you can at least be equipped to share that with people. So that's how that works. I got that question like 3 times today, so I wanted to be clear on it. Let's see, what else did I learn today? Okay, so this is something that I learned also, and I think it's something that a lot of people are confused on. So when you enroll, right, you get this rep discount of 25%, which from a compensation perspective, I don't use the rep discount. I wait until I have my own event set up where I'm getting 50% off items, because for me, like in a business sense, that makes way more sense. I'm going to say 50%. I'm going to use my rewards when I have them. If I don't have them, maybe I'll splurge. Like if that Sherpa thing comes out tomorrow, I'll probably buy it. But usually I try not to, okay? I'm not using my rep discount a lot. You don't earn commission on it, obviously, because they're already giving you 25% off. However, as an upline, you are still earning the appropriate amount of commission you would as if that were a regular sale, okay? So if you have somebody on your first line who's using their rep discount all the time, you're still making that 5% on where they use their rep discount. Does that make sense? I thought that was super cool. I think that's really generous. My first couple months assumed that wasn't a thing, but you are still making commissions as the upline. As an upline, your paid commissions 10 levels down, which is laid out pretty clear in that chart. And then lastly, there's 3 numbers that are pretty imperative in the business. That's 200, 600, and 1,000. And the 200 has a little asterisk by it, and I'll show you guys why. But in order to qualify for your commissions, you have to hit 200 PV, okay? It doesn't have to be 200 commissionable volume. Pretty much everything I've talked about tonight is based on PV, okay? That main PV number, qualified personal volume. So in order to qualify for your commissions, you have to have 200 PV per month. Now, I've also made a pretty big error here once in my ZYIA career, so I'm going to show you guys this. In order to get paid at the level you're at, so let's say you are a director. In order to get paid as a director, you have to have $500 in PV. Okay, that qualifies you to get paid as a director. So I, 1 month, was trying to hit executive. I actually blacked out 2 months of my ZYIA career, and I think I was at like 588 in sales. I don't know what happened. It doesn't matter. But I missed executive because I did not have $600 in PV. Okay, so it's 200 as a rep, as a junior rep, and as you go up, if you want to continue getting paid at the level you're at, that's the number that you have to qualify to hit, okay? So we say 200 a lot, but it's really these numbers depending on where you're at. The next 2 numbers, $600 is to avoid the website fee. So we know that there's a $15 website fee after the first, is it 2 or 3 months? I don't know. But there's a $15 website fee, and as long as you sell $600 PV per month, that's going to be waived. So I've never paid it except for that one weird month, I hit 588. But something to keep in mind, like that's a non-negotiable of mine. If I'm running this like a business, if I'm treating it like a business, I'm going to hit the 600. And then that last number is 1,000. So that $1,000 is going to be the point where, again, ZYIA tacks on an extra 8% commission on everything you've already sold in the month and everything you continue to sell. So keep those numbers at the forefront. If you guys go into, like, if you have a team, you can go into your downline and you can run a report by PV in like ascending or descending order. Just run it the last day of the month. And if you have somebody, if you see like 800, 900, 7, if you see any of those numbers, just reach out, make sure that people know, because you'd be shocked. A lot of times they don't know, or maybe their upline didn't mention it. But just something that you can do as a business owner and as a leader. So that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I know it's kind of basic, but if you guys have any like in-depth questions on if you're at a certain rank and you're trying to hit a certain income goal, let me know. But I do tell people when they start this business, the first thing I ask them is, what's your goal? Okay, so we talk about their why. Their why is very important, but I do think in addition to the why, we have to know financially what they're trying to do here, okay? Because that's a really big part of it. So if they say, like when I joined, I said, Ellie, shoot me straight, what do you make every month? My first goal is to cover my mortgage payment. And she told me, and we talked about how to make that happen, and we did in like the 2nd or 3rd month. And then I reset my goal. I said, okay, based on where I'm at, I know I want to grow 15 to 20% each month. How do I do that? Let's break it down. Well, how many more people do I need to mentor to make that happen? How many team calls do I have to do? How many events do I have to have? I guess my point is, again, a lot of times I think we look up, we look at the people who started at the same time of us who are having a major success. We've got people on our sidelines. We've got people everywhere, and we can look at what they're doing. We can hear the kind of money they're making, but just be very aware that you have a lot more control than you think. And this is still a day-by-day thing. So although we say, hey, you can join this company now and have a $20,000 paycheck in your 18-month in, you can do that. For sure, you can do that. But along with that, there's daily consistent things that have to be happening. and you have to know what your goals are, and you have to know what the input is to equal that output. Because if you don't, you lose control, and it kind of gets gray, and it kind of gets messy, and then people just become unmotivated. So again, I love numbers. I think it's so much fun. It's my absolute favorite part of the business. So if you guys have questions, or if you want to do a one-on-one call and kind of review your numbers, let me know. We can pull up your back office. But that's what I have for you guys. My water didn't break, and I'm still breathing. So that's a really good thing. But again, let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, do I wear a pocket? Pocket protector, like nerds. No, but I should. Should wear a different kind of protector right now. I'm a hot mess over here, this baby. Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amy. And again, you guys, Amy, I'm sure she'll introduce herself, but she's absolutely phenomenal. If your team isn't on here, text her right now and tell them to get on the call. Text your neighbors if they're not part of ZYIA. It'll be worth it. But Amy, without further ado, I'm going to mute myself and turn it